Welcome to Rough Cut Creations. This is the deer that my friend Gary got this year in 2023. I know the video is being done in 2024, but I did all this work in 2023. So we did one of these videos before, and I'm going to go through it again. What helps is if you have a nice set of tools. I do have some surgical tools, some rongiers, some different clamps, some different items that I can reach in and take things out. So you can see I'm pulling out my handy dandy toolkit. The thing about this is you got to take your time. I'm not a mass producer here. You do have to be careful and keep your knife sharp. We obviously don't want to put cuts into the skull if we can avoid it. The bugs or the beetle system is really nice, but I don't have that, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned boiling way. I like to take the skin off when it's fresh. The reason I do that is it does peel a little bit easier. This will take a little bit. I like to take my time, make sure I get it as clean as possible. So the first part of this video is just me cleaning it. So to be honest with you, it's a little mundane and a little boring, but right now I prefer to kind of cut it down the middle, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling it up. I'm not hitting the skull, but I'm pulling it up so that I can get a nice peel. I like to do one side and the other side, and at some point we're going to have to cut out the eyeballs, but we'll get to it at that particular point in time. This part does take a little bit. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. You just got to peel it and go as close to the skull as possible, and keep your knife sharpener as close as you can. So as we get down towards the jaw and you run into the teeth, I know my camera work's not that great, but I have this auto turn on for my Akeso, and the battery died, so I couldn't turn it on and off with just like my little pinky, and I really didn't want to move it around because once you get blood on your hands, it's obvious. You don't want to clean my cameras off. I like to use my little, it's kind of an offbeat GoPro my wife got me. I have a kind of a nicer HD camera I do like to use sometimes, but I find I'm not a professional and I do this mostly for fun and excitement for myself, and just to play along with these programs because they're kind of fun. It's kind of fun to do. So you can see I flipped it around. You can kind of see where I am. Now I'm going to quarter it down on the side so we can cut around that eye socket. That's kind of in around the base of the horns. That is a little bit tough, and you may have to dig in there to get some of that out. And to be honest with you, when you boil it, some of that will come loose at that particular time. So now I'm kind of going up top and around the horn or the antler, because horns are for animals that don't shed, and antlers are for deer and elk and things that do drop and shed. So here's where you got to kind of be careful because you don't want to damage any of the base, the patella of the antler. This is kind of where you just kind of take your time. Remember, I do this mostly for fun. I do do a backing that I charge for, that is made from my mill lumber. I do laser etching and such like that. You'll see that at the end of this one. Family and friends, of course, not. I mean, mostly that is just for the fun of it, the love of this. So I don't do it really as a business per se, but if I do it for someone else, an acquaintance or such, time is valuable, so I don't charge a lot, but the wood and the cleaning the wood and sanding it down and the laser etching, all that stuff costs me money, so yeah, it's okay to get a little bit of that back. But for stuff like this, for my own hunting party and the people I hunt with, I just like to do it for fun, and I do enjoy it. So I think you might yourself, especially when you see the end product. I think it turned out pretty nice. This can get a little monotonous for you probably in the video, but also for me, because you have to take your time and getting some of that where on the neck and the back where it meets, it can be a little bit of a pain. Your hands get a little greasy, so I always carry a lot of shop towels along, and then I like to take the bag and clean up as I go, so you don't get too big of a mess. There's nothing wrong with cleaning up. In fact, I think that it's a good idea to do so. So as we continue, it's a little bit harder and harder here. It's harder to hold on, but I'm starting to get to that point where you want to try to break that jawbone off, so that's coming up. That can be a little tough as I've gotten older and arthritis in my hand. It's getting a little tougher to do. First, of course, I have to get the other side off. That may take a moment, and when we get further along in the video, I'm going to time lapse it so it can speed this along, and then I may add a little music to it so that you're not completely and utterly bored. But as you can see, I just want you to show that it does take time. When we were hunting with this group, we hunt on a farm owned by Dave and Cheryl and their sister Debbie. Very nice people. We enjoyed a lot. In fact, I enjoy going out there more just to shoot the breeze. And this year with my surgery and stuff, I went bow hunting out there with my crossbow. I really had no intention on shooting anything because I couldn't drag anything or lift anything. But me and Dave actually just sat out in the woods in chairs and shot the bull, and that was actually good times. This year we all got a deer except for John. John's the one I did last year. He did a nice job with that. And this year the opportunity just didn't come. Mine and Matt's, mine was basically a doe, and Matt had what he thought was a 6 or an 8 pointer. It turned out to be a 5 because on one side he didn't see that the horns weren't quite there, but it was a nice deer, good size on it. And you'll see some of those horns in there. We did a nice etching of those pictures, and I'll show you that. We'll do a laser part of the video later on, and you'll see how nice that works. I did one for John last year, if you remember, him kneeling by his deer, and this year I did a group photo, all of us in the back of our truck with the deer, and Gary's nice 8 pointer there, and Really nice picture. Dave was standing in the truck and holding, and I thought that was pretty cool. We're going to get to the point where we're going to get the rest of this top skull cut off, and then we can break that jawbone off, and we'll take it from there. And then I'm going to kind of speed it up for a little bit till the end. I may add a little tunage there, some free music that comes with this program, which is a Corel video studio. It's a pretty decent program. Learning curve, they've got some videos you can watch. My problem is between my job and taking care of stuff for my wife and her cabin and stuff like that, I don't always have a lot of time to do this and edit this. So today I'm actually just taking my time and doing a little voiceover action. I probably won't redo it, truthfully. I'm probably going to go with what I get out of here. I didn't like the way it sounded in the actual video as I was explaining it in the video, so I muted that, which no matter what, it's going to sound better. I'm sound out of breath. I sound like I'm 90 years old, so I'm getting to that point pretty soon. And we got to snap that jaw up. Just trying to get that down. There's that big chunk there. So we're almost to that point in this video. As you can see, I'm trying to clean up after myself. I tell people it's just better. You drop it on the floor, you step on it, you could slip. And here's the part where I'm going to break the jaw. I have to make some relief cuts. 5 years ago, I just grab it and snap it. But since I had the shoulder surgery and such, I have to be a little bit more ginger about it and cut it. I don't have quite the same strength. I've been trying to work on that within the doctor's limitations. I have to admit at this point, it was actually, I can remember thinking to myself, man, what I'd give for those to be 5 years younger. I don't want to be younger, but 5 years younger, just to have that strength back and just snap that sucker. Well, I did get the bone snapped out, as you can see. And now we're in hyperspeed mode, cleaning up some stuff. And now we're going to take some knife. We got to get those eyeballs out pretty soon. I'm just cleaning up a little bit. You got to be careful with the teeth. Don't want the teeth to be wrecked. I've changed my boiling style because of that also. I boil it pretty hot, but you're careful if you boil it too long, all of a sudden you start breaking all that connective tissue. You can actually have your skull split a little bit, have your teeth fall off, and those things I just don't want to do. Right now we're doing the eyeball, so that's pretty cool. My speed is over, and we kind of buzzed through that part of it. Now we're getting into some of the finer parts of cleaning up the skull in little bits and pieces. So we'll get to that point, we'll be able to boil, and as soon as we get to that ending, will go as that as the second part. Alright, here we are, and we're doing some final cleaning. The more meat you can get off now when it's fresh, the better it is. It's just better overall. So now it's just picking some stuff apart. In the back of that skull, there's just a lot of nooks and crannies in there. A lot of that will come out with boiling, but you'll find that you'll be picking at that even after you boil it. Depending, if you're doing a professional job, you really need to take your time and clean that out as much as possible. Doing for friends, you still want it cleaned out as much as possible, but sometimes I found on this deer, I boiled it, let it dry, and then I was able to actually break some of those pieces off. Especially after I did the hydrogen peroxide and whitened them out, it kind of dried them up and made it easier to kind of flick them off, kind of like a scab. I found that worked pretty good. Then I threw it in for another last boil, and then the rest of it came off. So it came off nice and clean. It's kind of what you want to achieve with this kind of thing. Digging in on those cavities. Alright, there it is, cleaned up and ready to go. There's my son's, the one that I was telling you about, and Gary's, and another one, and we'll throw those in the pot, get those boiled up, and stay tuned for part 2, which is the boil, and part 3, which is the laser etching, which I think will be a lot of fun. So once again, from Rough Cut Creations, so long, and thank you for joining us.